All right, welcome back to Doug's Den. I am Coach Doug's, and today we have a very special guest, a man of many names. You may know him as Marcus Trilberry. You may know him as that weird Arby's guy. Please welcome Onyx.
Oh, meow meow. Thanks for having me, Coach Doug's.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. Believe me, Onyx. It's thanks for coming on. I've been a big fan for years. I saw your local news interview you did years back, and where I believe a lady ran her car into the Arbys. Is that right?
Oh yeah. This old lady, she just kind of drove her car right into the middle of our meat hut establishment. Yeah, freaked us all out. But upside was I got super famous, so I guess it all worked out for the better.
Absolutely. Well, hey, listen, I know about randomly getting famous off of random events, so for sure. Well, tell us a little bit. Onyx, you go by Onyx, right?
Yeah. You can just call me Onyx or Onyx TF for the fortuitous.
Nice. I like that. I'm a big fan of nicknames myself, so I appreciate
Oh
that.
yeah.
Well, Onyx, what was what was life like before that interview?
Yeah. Well, it was just me kind of hanging out at my mom's house. I live in the basement of my mom's house, so which is where I still live. So I guess not much changed after that video, but I did start getting like kind of weird fan mail from people that would like send me pictures of their taxidermy collection and weird stuff like that, which I didn't quite understand. I thought maybe I'd get like a girlfriend out of the whole thing, but that didn't pan out either. So I guess I just kind of like lived life the same, except I had a little bit more reputation preceding me. But yeah, I was hoping it would kind of turn me into like a Jean-Claude Van Damme type, megastar, but haven't quite gotten there yet. But there's still time left.
For sure. Absolutely. There's still time. Well, I'm glad to hear that fame has not changed you at all, that you're still
Oh yeah,
the Onyx that everyone loves.
for sure, for sure.
Well, here in Doug's Den, we like to we like to check out personal collections, whether they be of monetary value or sentimental. And I noticed behind you have a large collection of VHS tapes.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. VHS to me is the best format a film could ever be presented on. I like the kind of like pop and the hiss when you first put it in the VCR, and I kind of like how the image quality is like real grainy and effed up and kind of hard to see. I like watching movies that way, but I'm just different. Kind of like the opposite of Christopher Nolan. I want my movies to be as small, square, and effed up looking as possible. So VHS is my preferred format. Has been for years now.
Absolutely. That sounds like the way to go. Well, so this VHS collection you've got going on, how many VHS tapes do you think you have?
Well, on this wall, this is kind of like the selections wall. So it's just my top picks. There's only about 20 per row, but in my closet, in a couple of bins, I've got like hundreds more. So I probably have like over 500 VHS. And then sometimes the tapes break, unfortunately. And so I've got to ditch those. And then I just take to eBay to get a new one. And so sometimes I'm on the search for like that, white whale, my VHS that I've never quite found of one of my favorite films.
Absolutely. And what would that white whale be? Is there something that you've been on the search for a while now?
Yeah, actually, there's a big box version of Poltergeist because for a while they put out some of the 80s movies in like these kind of oversized, large VHS boxes. But I'm kind of torn because I want the big box Poltergeist because it's one of my all-time fave movies. But at the same time, it wouldn't fit on my rack properly because it's a little bit larger than the regular VHS. But that's one that I really want.
Absolutely. Well, it's a lovely collection you got there, and so what would be a couple of your top movies you have there? We know the Poltergeist big box is what you're looking to get eventually, but what would be one or two of the your top movies that you have on VHS there?
Well, one of my all-time faves is definitely From Beyond. I don't know if you've ever seen this,
I've not.
One of my favorite directors is Stuart Gordon, who made Reanimator, and he made Castle Freak, which I also have. But also From Beyond is kind of one of the most effed up movies. This guy starts growing like a third eye out of the middle of his forehead that kind of helps him see into other dimensions. And when I first saw it as a teenager, I started praying to God or the devil, whichever one would listen, that I'd get a third eye grown out of my forehead, but it never happened. Still, I love From Beyond. And there's a big gooey guy, and I really like goo. That's one of my favorite things in horror films is when there's a lot of goo. And this guy turns into goo by the end, and he's got like 4 legs. So you can't go wrong with that. From Beyond is definitely one of my faves.
Absolutely. That's I tell you what, I growing up, I was always the comedy guy. I loved comedies.
Yeah.
I've seen a few horrors here and there. But growing up, when I grew up, there was like Chucky and the Leprechaun were big. And, just I think I saw one of those growing up as a kid, and it scared me. I get scared very easily. However, I'm very intrigued with horror films. What would be another one of your top ones?
Well, on that note, I do have Child's Play somewhere on this rack, which is one of my favorites, but I can't find it right now. Oh, here it is. I do love Child's Play. And when I try to buy my VHSs, I try to find the ones with the original cover, because a lot of times there's re-releases with covers that aren't as cool and aren't as like old school. But this is one of the original covers for the Child's Play VHS. And then
Nice.
one of my all-time favorite horror comedies, since you mentioned comedy, is actually The Burbs with Tom Hanks. And this is back when kind of Tom Hanks was still, I don't know, he's a little more sassy. Now he's kind of like America's Dad, which is cool too. But in this, he was kind of like his rapscallion character from like Joe versus the Volcano, or like Money Pit, which is like my Tom Hanks, Turner and Hooch. And in The Burbs, he thinks his neighbors might be cannibals or serial killers of some kind. And this is one of my favorite horror comedies, directed by the guy that did Gremlins, Joe Dante. So Joe Dante is kind of like my papa. At least I wish he was. So this is definitely high up on my list, especially if you're into comedy as well.
Yeah, that sounds like a movie that I should check out. I think I've seen that on Netflix. I think I've seen that cover.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I should definitely check that out. Yeah, Gremlins again. When there's Gremlins, obviously a horror film, it would be in that category. But those are the horror films that I like. Those are the horror films where it's like, yeah, it's got the jump scares and it is a scary movie. However, when it has a jump scare, but it also has an old lady flying out of a window.
Yeah, totally.
The stairway. So those, I'm all about that. So I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, my favorite horror movies are the one that kind of, they still have like a sense of adventure to them. They're not just like a bunch of people getting killed and like, or like Hostel, a bunch of people just getting like drilled into and chopped up. I mean, that's cool for some people, but I like stuff that still like makes me LOL and kind of has some fun to it. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's what I'm interested in, and that's why I'm really excited to hear about you're going to be in a movie.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be in a movie called Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls, and it's kind of a horror comedy in the vein of Gremlins or Fright Night. And except I'm the main character. Yeah. So I'm going to be like a big beefy bad boy, like Jean-Claude Van Damme, fighting demons and stuff. And we're doing a Kickstarter for it right now. So trying to get the money to make it. And if we do, I'll be the most famous person that has ever lived. And people can go to onyxthemovie.com to find out more about it. But that poster is sick. So yeah, onyxthemovie.com. They can help me become a big beefy bad boy movie star.
That is very cool. I'm excited for it. This Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. Tell us a little bit. So it sounds like you mentioned it's kind of like the or it's in the vein of the Gremlins and that style. What it sounds like there's going to be an adventure. Can you tell us a little bit about the movie and like what you're going to be in? What you're going to the challenges and adventure you're going to be in?
Oh, for sure. So it's kind of like an effed up Willy Wonka, where 5 Satanists win a contest and they get to go to their like lead Satanist mansion. His name is Bartok, and they think they're going to take part in a once in a lifetime ritual that's going to get them all immortality. But when they get there, spoiler alert, turns out Bartok's got the not best of intentions for them. Let's just say that. And he actually wants to take their souls and then trap them in a talisman. So yeah, they'll live forever, but they'll live forever imprisoned in that talisman so that he can gain the power of an ancient demon and take over the earth. So yeah, pretty much the fate of mankind rests on my shoulders and the other Satanists that went to the mansion. And let's just say it turns into the best movie of all time.
Absolutely. I could definitely see that. It sounds like an amazing movie. I can't wait to see it. And so, well, Onyx, thank you so much for showing us your little, a little bit of your VHS collection and telling us a little about Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. That's going to be at onyxthemovie.com, right?
Yep. ONYX, themovie.com. Help us back to Kickstarter and make our movie today.
Absolutely. So what we have with just about 2 more weeks on it, and
Yep.
if we get the goal, it's a go. We're for sure making it.
Yep.
And absolutely, that sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking your time today and coming into Doug's Den and showing off your VHS collection. Again, this sounds like an awesome movie. I know I would be pumped to go see it, and who knows, maybe even be in it. And
Yeah.
so definitely go
Hell
to
yeah.
Onyx the Movie, onyxthemovie.com for that Kickstarter. Let's get this movie made, and let's make Onyx a movie star.
Thank you, Coach Doug's.
Absolutely. Thank you, Onyx. I appreciate it.